Now see your screen.
All right, guys, this is Doug Mumall, Director of Education with MPG, and welcome. I'm going to have Randy kick us off just with a few comments, but welcome to our version 19 enhancement demo. Randy?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. Hey, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I'm just looking, obviously, we know all of you, and appreciate you taking the time to look at the version 19 enhancements. As Doug will walk you through some of these enhancements, you'll see, obviously some of the new features and so forth, but in particularly, as the marketplace is shifting, sort of from an on-prem model to a cloud model, there's different views and different issues that come up, when you're looking at a cloud model versus an on-prem model. So we'll cover some of the things that we see as we're working through some of these performance issues. But again, thanks everybody, and Doug will talk about, there's a chat window that you can enter, ask questions. I'll be monitoring that as Doug's making the presentation, and then obviously at the end we'll open it up for questions. So appreciate it again, and Doug, you're ready to go.
Thanks, Randy. All right, everybody, let's begin. If I can get my mouse to work, here we go. All right, so the agenda. We're going to show all the version 19 enhancements and functionality, and I call it rapid fire. You guys will be shocked at how much cool stuff is in version 19. So it's going to go fast, and the good news is this webinar is being recorded. So if you have to go away or something happens, you can always come back to it, and we'll have it on the website in the next day or so. We're going to talk about capacity planning offerings. We get asked that a lot, so we're going to give you the structure to that. And we're going to talk about what Randy just alluded to, the impact of everything being on the cloud, and we'll talk about managed service providers. We're seeing an interesting phenomenon, and we're going to give you some best practice things to look for. We'll discuss version 19 documentation. We'll talk about education. I get asked by a lot of business partners, and it's fun for me as an ex-customer and now a business partner for, gosh, 14 years. I get asked all the time from business partners, hey, how do I learn PerfNav? How do I learn, what my customers are seeing, and so I can help them. And people talk about the education program, and we're gonna show you a pretty neat offer today for you guys, so you guys can get educated. And then obviously at the end we'll do questions. All right. So one of the things I love, and this is, I'm very blessed that I get to do demos for customers, business partners, even in this case, potential customers. But I remember after a 45-minute potential customer, the customer said, "Wow, your software works like I think." And I thought that was the ultimate compliment. And remember, I was a customer for 17 years. So, I mean, I used this product in the trenches for years. And I think the goal for MPG, and I think, whether you're a business partner or an end user customer, we're trying to make your processes easier every day. For you guys that are doing, capacity planning, you might be working on performance tuning for an issue at your customer, whatever. Our goal is to make PerfNav your go-to product just to help you understand things at a deeper level. So I know we've done that, and I think we're going to continue that excellence in version 19. And when you guys see it, I think you're going to be really, really impressed. Let's talk about capacity planning offerings. The first one is IBM funded capacity planning. I mean, that is what a great concept now that it's totally funded by IBM. And for you guys, it's easy. You simply go out to our website and click on the business partner form link. And I just wanted to put a couple slides. Maybe you guys have done this in your sleep by now, but maybe a few you haven't. Here's how you do it, right? Once you hit that button and then you come into the technical sales request form, you sign in, and then you actually will pull down your business partner. I'm just giving our screenshot. And then you'll come in and say you're going to do a capacity planning using the MPG tool. It really is that easy, but a lot of folks may have not seen how easy it is, and we just wanted to take the time to show it to you. If you decide to work with MPG for whatever reason, time zones, whatever, you can do that. When we have business partners that do that, and just a caveat that just standard business partner rates will be applied, and just call us for details. All right, and I wanted to talk about the General Data Protection Regulation, the GDR or GDPR compliancy. Good news for everybody in regards to personal data and digital privacy that MPG's version 19 is completely GDPR compliant. So good news for you guys to get your customers, have them upgrade to 19, and you guys will be in good shape. So let's talk about managed service providers. I have the unique experience, like I said, I've been a customer in the customer side of the fence for 21 years, multiple companies, and I've been with MPG 14 years. And I was thinking, geez, where did that time go? But I guess that's code to say I've been doing this a long time. I mean, I can say the next stuff on the next slides confidently. We all see the industry starting to put everything out in the cloud. And it's funny for me because it reminds me so much of the early 1990s when we were putting all the processing power out to our remote locations. Remember that distributed processing? And I remember that was the big deal. That was the big thing that all the CIOs, I used to joke with my CIO, would you read a magazine article? And the next thing I knew, we were spending millions of dollars making call centers that were out in the field, and that was fine. But what I remember through all that is it didn't go as well as planned because managing the boxes remotely became a nightmare. When everything was good, it was good. But when there were issues, they went, oh, we've got to send people out to the remote sites. So new technology, new architecture, it's a great thing. But I thought about as we're going to this new cloud architecture, there's a lot of best practices we gotta just remember, and just let's learn from our lessons from the past. So some golden rules for MSPs. What I'm finding that CPW is not a performance benchmark, right? When my old company Boise Cascade says, we've got all these boxes and we're given a CPW, you're getting 50,000 CPW. That doesn't equal performance, right? So we need to set our customer expectations. When you guys are adding additional customers, that impacts performance to the existing customers, and we can get into those details offline. But there's a lot of things, right? As you're adding LPARs, think about cores and how it's going to be, how the CPW is affected. And here's something, I don't care if you're on the customer side or the business partner side. One of the things I've taught at common tech conferences is you must understand the impact of change. You would be surprised how many people in our industry make major hardware changes, make application changes, tuning changes, whatever. You need to understand the impact. And the great news, Performance Navigator, it's so easy with our before versus after analysis. And in version 19, you'll see that you have the ability to look at hardware, like you'll look at system A versus system B. So if you've gone from a Power 8 to a Power 9, you can see the impact. Storewise, as I'm quickly learning, is not multi-tenant friendly. Again, we're all learning this on the fly as we go to this new cloud concept. Selling capacity, as we said it before, does not equal performance. And when you're isolating customer performance, right? They had 1.2 milliseconds over here, just response time. This is a difficult concept when you start thinking about pools and the like. And again, understand the impact of change, and whether you're going to set up multiple pools or maybe you're thinking about spinning disk versus SSD, easy tier. You can see it's a very complex environment. We're all kind of jumping in the deep end of the cloud pool, so there's a lot of things to think about. And the bottom line we're learning, and you guys know this, that the best practice is to manage the entire frame, right? When you've got BIOS, IBMI, IX Linux, now that you're having this big cloud, right, and we're putting customers in LPARs, and here we go, you've got to know the big picture. Because if you think about it, you're doing this for customers, right? When I was with Boise Cascade, I had deliverables as the tech support manager to make sure our application was running. So whether that box was local in Chicago, or now, my example before, remote, or now on a cloud, the same rules apply, right? It's not just about capacity planning and providing hardware. I did that in my sleep back at Boise Cascade. But even when we got new hardware, there were issues that I had every single day that I had to manage, right? We have this big data to our advantage, all this performance data, the movie cameras on. So just because MSPs have now got a bunch of customers on their frames, customers still have to do their jobs, right? So I guess what you can tell I'm passionate about this because I can see this phenomenon happening so fast, and we all just need to learn from the past, take a step back, and just remember that MSPs, you guys are creating a culture where customers can access their performance management data easily. Or what I'm also seeing is that there are staffs out there that need to get that answer. So whether you have a liaison at a Boise Cascade, a Walgreens, or whatever, right? They're still going to have problem determination issues. They're going to need to understand their impact of change when they make changes. Oh, we went to a new order entry system, a new application, right? They're deliverable. They need to make sure everything's okay. Think of structured enterprise and management reporting. That's not going away, right? Every month, I always had to know what were my trends. Are we going to be ready for Christmas time? And so my point is this: CIOs, they're not going to stop asking the question, what happened, right? Again, we went from local to distributed, now to cloud, right? So it's still, everything is still going to be the same, and CIOs are going to come in and go to their team and say, Mayday, what happened? So the easy solution, you guys just need to get a Navigator Max license so you can manage the entire frame. It's all about SLAs and stuff. And, I think we're going to learn through this whole process. But the bottom line is you guys got to be prepared. If you create the right culture up front where you can manage these boxes more effectively, it's going to be win-win for everybody. Okay, let's get to the fun new functionality. So the first thing that I want to talk about in version 19 is we have a performance management dashboard. And for the first release, probably this month, you just do a file run script to actually start the dashboard. But I want to tell you just the cool things up front about this dashboard. And I laugh because it only took us for 19 versions. That's Randy's like laughing at me right now, but that's fun, right? We've now had the demand this year. We had a lot of requests. So in version 19, it's our first ever dashboard. It's a simple look and feel. We beta tested it everywhere and users loved it. It supports LPARs with multiple ASPs, which is neat, and we can go up to 2 right now in our first phase. And we just have really great, just like with all of our graphs and scripts, and it's just amazing drill down capability. Some highlights. You're going to start it via the Navigator panel soon. Again, right now it's file run script, and you just select dashboard. So make a mental note on that. And I will put this up on the web, and I'll put in the file run script before it's up there. So when you guys come back to this, you'll see that. All core metrics are graded with guidelines you define. It automatically updates based on the collection services interval that's on that box. And we show the last interval, all the metrics for that, CPU, disk, memory, and we include top job analysis as part of that. So it's really, really slick. Just a simple toggle button where we show you the last date versus if you want to see the whole day, all intervals. And we put peak interval analysis is included. And you can see there's just so much there. Drill down for all metrics. Temp storage is a big deal, right? We've had a bunch of customers, and I'll give you some real life examples in a bit, where they had disk was going out of control on one day, not historically, but today, and they almost crashed. So, part of the cool dashboard concept is we've got critical temp storage metrics that are actually part of that dashboard, so you can see when that phenomenon exists. All right, and then we can do work sys status, work disk status, and just substance reporting is all part of the dashboard. So let's show you the interface. Really cool. Again, we break it down by performance metric, CPU, disk, machine, memory, and number of jobs. All right, just a simple drill down. If you were clicking on CPU, look at this. Very, very easy to comprehend. You got a picture, the numbers behind the graph, and look at that top job analysis for the last interval. So very, very easy to understand what's going on in the system. If you click on show all intervals, we just basically show you, all the intervals that were recorded for that day. So whether, it's just a toggle back and forth, whether you want to see the last date or the whole day, you can do that. And when you go into the peak concept, maybe you want to see, gosh, what happened with CPU? Something happened at 4 in the morning. We'll look at this. You can click on your peak, and we show you what happened, and we show you the jobs that were on the system at that time when you hit your peak, in this case, peak CPU. Very, very easy. Like I said, the feedback we've got from customers, they love it because it's what you'd expect with Performance Navigator. It's just the drill downs are so easy and the information is so valuable, and like I said, you understand at a deeper level what's going on with your systems. My great real life example. So like I said a couple minutes ago, that disk was growing really, really big on a system. It was right now. I mean, they were in a panic. And so the cool thing is when you're within guidelines, disk analysis is really easy, right? But when you get something like this, it's Mayday. And this is what happened for 2 customer sites. That disk was going out of control and they were about to crash. So what do? Well, you no longer have to panic. These were 2 actual responses that we had last month where disk space was growing so fast. Again, they were about to crash. And this is the responses we got when we saved the day. And you can see the very, very kind, you saved us again, blah, blah, blah. Doug, you guys are a lifesaver. And you see what happened. Well, they used our disk analysis. Why is disk growing now? And in the current day disk, they solved this immediately and stopped the system from crashing. Well, the good news for you guys is that architecture is built right into the dashboard. So think about it. There's 2 things that can cause that phenomenon to happen. Either there's a temp storage issue, or someone's increasing the size of a file on the box and not understanding the impact of what's going on to the system. So look at this. Here's the example where if you were in the red, you could click top storage, temporary storage jobs. You look at the report, fully qualified job names, so there's no guessing. I've been in computer rooms where people are just, cancel, cancel, cancel. You don't have to do that, right? The information's right there in front of you. And if it's not a temp storage issue, you just go back and look at what was hitting the disk. And again, fully qualified job names. So just the flow, if you had your disk space went red and it was Mayday, look what you do. You click on temp storage, you look for big hitters. If it's not a temp storage issue, you go back and you look at what's banging the disk. It's that easy. And by the way, that process took me less than 10 seconds. So we really like it because we know when you have an issue like something this severe, you need to figure it out right away. And Performance Navigator does that with the new dashboard. All right, let's talk about new and improved what's different analysis. So for you guys out there as business partners, I'm going to give you the customer side of the fence. There's things that I teach all over the world where I'm teaching IT staffs, and then let me define IT staffs. It might be management, it might be systems programmers, it might be application programmers, it might be help desk. I teach everybody. And I remember I was at a customer site where I had a whole full room of systems guys, applications guys, and the phones were ringing off the hook. And when the CIO walks into your class, everybody looks up and goes, uh-oh. You knew something was going on. Well, the phones were ringing off the hook and they were having a performance problem. And the CIO looked at everybody and said, what's going on? And they said, hey, we didn't make there's no changes. And the CIO looked at everybody in his staff and said, come on, guys, if we didn't make any changes, what's different? And that's that concept, that's how what's different was created. It's such a great idea that we went back at MPG and we created the what's different analysis because There are times you need to know, oh no, what happened, and figure it out. So, and what's different, there's a new concept. We got a really simple dashboard. It's very intuitive. You know, the idea is this, right? You have a before date, an after date, and maybe right there the phones are ringing off the hook. And, you know, your jobs as systems guys, you know, and BPs are doing it too, right? You guys have to figure things out for customer. They're going to ask you, what the heck happened right there? So the what's different analysis, I'll show you version 18 to show you how neat it is in 19. So the old format in 18 was a really cool color coordinated concept where we had system specs and CPU and disk and memory and jobs and everything, right? So we had that. The problem was we would click a hyperlink and we'd see a cool side-by-side picture. That's great, right? We could see that CPU was up or down or whatever. And then you'd hit a back button and it went to a bookmark in your browser, and then you had to hit a hyperlink. And it worked and people loved it, but we had to make it easier. So look how easy it is in version 19. We simply have a new one-stop shopping dashboard that comes up, kind of a what's different dashboard, and look at that. Just right there, you can go in there and say, so when you've compared this time to this time, good day, bad day, boom, here's your starting point. So then, if you clicked on CPU, look at how cool that is. There's your good day, there's your bad day, and now you can see obviously CPU jumped up. Why did it jump up? One button, top jobs. And you click on it and look at this. Very, very cool one-stop shopping where we show you the top jobs from the good day, top jobs on the bad day, and look at that. No more hard, got to hit hyperlinks and go to 16 places. Boom, one spot where you know exactly what happened. And look at that. In this real-life example, there were 10 new jobs and one new system task. So something happened on that bad day that usually doesn't happen. Very, very easy. No more guessing. No more having a feeling. You know exactly what happened when you do a what's different analysis. All right, so just the flow. I'd like to show you guys the flow. Whatever metric it is, you click on it, you get the side-by-side picture so you can see what the system was doing in regards to that metric. And then look at this. You click top jobs and you look at the report. It's that easy. And then you simply, hit the findings report button to go back to the starting point. So you do that iteration for all core metrics, and I think you guys will agree that's a lot simpler to get to the culprits. All right, and I know we're going fast, rapid fire, stay with me, but there's so much cool functionality, we're just going fast. All right, new and improved ODBC top user analysis. What's really neat about this is we're going to identify all the users that are using and what resources they're using. So we're going to look at CPU, faulting IO, temp and permanent storage. And you can toggle. What's really cool, sometimes when you get a by time graph, when you see kind of an ebb and flow of a bunch of things stacked together, it's kind of hard to interpret. What am I looking at? Well, we have a neat pie chart button that you just click on it and you'll know the relationships right away. One of the cool things that you can do is you can do this analysis for any day. So even though when you do a current day graph, it comes up today, maybe when someone said, boy, what happened yesterday with ODBC? Well, you just click back to yesterday and run this analysis. And you can get very granular. In version 19, we can do any time period. So if you want to do 8 to 5, 12 to 2, whatever, you can do that. So just to look at the new feel, so when you run this analysis, you get this really cool concept where there's your ebb and flow by time graph. All your buttons are at the top. You see we show a nice big picture of what you've seen, and how cool is this? The numbers behind the graph. So you easily see the top users and the resources they're using. And once like I said, you want to see like, what am I really looking at? Because sometimes it's like hard to interpret that picture. Well, you just click the pie chart view and look at that. How easy is that? So that's what we did in version 19, is just made it very easy for you guys to interpret what's going on. And the cool thing is, look at that. It's not just CPU, it's faulting, it's IOs, it's sync IOs, async IOs, logical IOs, and temp and permanent storage. And if your customer says, man, I'd like that, but I want an all-one report, well, we provide a one-button click, and all that stuff you were seeing, you would get all metrics in one report. Just very, very slick. way to understand ODBC, and we get a lot of requests for this. People, ODBC is that hard thing to understand. Well, we're making it really easy in version 19. And some great news, as of June 1st, we actually had a nice request from a customer, and I always say this, the good ideas come from you guys in the trenches, and a customer said, hey, can you give us the same thing for secure ODBC? And look at that. We did it on June 1st, the exact same functionality. We actually had customers beta test it already. How do you like that? We get a version 19 and we put something new out already, but we did it and it worked like a champ. So whether you're doing a regular ODBC or secure, we got you covered. All right, current day memory pool allocation. I love this. So you can imagine how many sites that I go to where people are trying to understand what performance adjuster is doing on their system, and gosh, what all the pools they might have. When it's pretty easy maybe when you have a normal pool 1, 2, 3, 4 setup right out of the box. But when you get to more complex sites, they may take things out of Starbase, and I want to put my order entry system in a share pool, or I want to put WebSphere, in a private pool, or whatever. You've got to be able to understand what's happening on your system today. Well, you can do that with current day memory pool scripts. So what's cool about this is here's version 18. In 19, we just changed the look and feel, but it's not just about the colors. Look what we did. We actually, when you click on a hyperlink, we give you a really easy way to switch between the memory movement and the faulting. So you see how nice toggle button, so you can look where you can see the faulting and know exactly what's going on. And in version 19, we added a button where now, okay, I'm doing a memory allocation, and we used to just look at each pool. Well, now let's look at the whole system. So now we break down that memory by pool, and we can show you the allocation as well. This is new, and I've already had customers use this very effectively. We're like, oh, that's great. Like, we're trying to think of memory, when we're going to make some memory changes. Well, let's get a baseline. Let's see where we're at today. Boom, they can make it and then understand the impact of that change. So very, very powerful, great functionality for version 19. All right, this one makes me laugh. I can't tell you how many times I'm in customer sites and I explain what a sync IO is, right? That's your bad IO, the IO that everything stops dead in its tracks versus an async IO where things can keep running. And it just confuses a lot of people. And even when you know the difference, you're always asked to understand the impact of IOs. And what we did in version 19 is we just made it a little easier for people. We just added total IOs. So what's great, that's what, there's some folks just want to know, gosh, did IOs increase? And they don't care about the granularity of sync IO and async IO. So we simply added them together and added them in drill down reporting all over the place. And I'll give you a great version 19 at its best story. Look at this. When you have something that happens like this, like, holy cow, what happened to IOs? Well, we now have the ability where you can do top job analysis and look at a good day versus a bad day and understand why those IOs jumped. And look at this. I mean, come on. I always say that's just showing off, but look at this. By the way, that report there, when you had the good day and the bad day, you can see I compared April 23rd to April 30th. This process took me less than 5 seconds. I mean, to be able to go to your customers and say, okay, why did IOs go up? Well, look at this. We actually will show you that here's inventory of the top jobs on the good day, the top jobs on the bad day, and look at this, new job. And so if you can see this, a bunch of new system tasks and new jobs, that's what caused IOs to go up on the bad day. Again, I'm going to say it over and over. No more guessing, no more having a feeling. You know exactly what happened. And that's the essence of what we're all doing out there. When we're performance guys and we're helping those customers, we need to get to those answers. All right. So now that we're kind of diving in the deep end of the pool and performance, let's talk about job weight buckets. Love what we did in version 19. A nice, crisp, clean format. And we did something this year where, and it was a valid complaint or a request, I'll say, that we just used to put the job buckets in alphabetical order. Well, now we can actually sort them in descending order, so you can see really what things are waiting on. We do a day versus day job analysis, and we can go within a single day. we can split a trend line and see, okay, what's a job doing at the beginning? What's it doing in the end? Very, very handy if you're trying to understand, like, why are things taking so long, kind of thing. So you can get down to a very granular level. Just to show you, here's a single day where I'm comparing, 2 to 3:50 in the morning, and then 3:55 to 3:50, and then we're looking at our backup jobs. So you can see very, very cool side-by-side comparison, and we'll show you what were new weights, what weights are weighting more. You can see it very easily there. And here's a day versus day analysis. Sorry for the typo, I just noticed that. My eyes are getting bad, but you can see here we're comparing 423 to 424, and look at that. Know exactly what's going on. And think of what a real life example. Gosh, backup was great today. Boy, it really took a long time, whatever day. No more guessing, right? We just simply compare the good day and bad day, and you can see exactly what happened on the bad day. So I have customers that use this all over the world, just love it. And one of the things that we can do is these columns in version 19 for all our new reporting. It's not just a new look and feel color wise, you can sort any column. So very, very powerful stuff. I've already had customers like, wow, and you'll see when we get to library analysis how handy that is. Okay, so in version 19, we have a new top user and accounting code reporting, which is very cool. So now, again, we can do day versus day. And here's something I'll tease you on. We'll talk about this in a bit. In version 19, we now have this new concept called month versus month comparisons. You are going to love this. When you have customers that are making major changes to things like applications and the like, you can do month-to-month comparisons, and I'll give you a great real-life example where this saved the day. So just some screenshots of the top user analysis. You can see here we're doing, looking at transactions from, comparing 2 days, and you can do the same thing from a month-to-month standpoint. Very, very powerful stuff when you're trying to understand maybe who's using all the resources. So very, very cool. New and improved service level analysis, love this. In version 18, it was very simple. You can go in and look at the core things that can cause pain on your box, and people liked it. But we made it even better. In version 19, we measure all cores components as usual. We do SLAs that are graded with more granularity, and I call it levels of good, like a heat map. So you'll see in a little bit what that means. We now support multiple ASP. We didn't do that before. It was one ASP. And we're introducing a new concept called a miss rate percentage, which is just a fancy way to say how often are you not hitting your guideline. So the things stick out like a sore thumb. So watch how cool this is. Here's an example of a one ASP analysis. And so you can see we're looking at memory, response, and disk. Look at the heat map concept. We're showing you levels of good. When you're really dark green, you're really hitting it. But you can see as you're starting to maybe approach where you're missing the guideline, we show the colors as lighter colors. And then ultimately, look at the red. There's an example where I'd have to go, hey, Mayday, look at our disk response time. We're not hitting half the time. We're blowing it, and we need to come up with a game plan to fix that. That's one ASP, and just wanted to show you a multiple ASP example where you can see down below we've got ASP1 and then we have other ASP. So very, very, very powerful stuff. People have given me great feedback on this in class because they really understand their systems and their SLAs better just by running this report. Okay, rapid fire, here we go. Top interactive users, this is kind of cool. So watch this. You would be amazed at how many users will look at their response time. And this was kind of like the, what would I say, the old component bucket back in the report back in the day with the, I call them response time buckets, if I can say it, where you're looking at half a second, up to a second, and so forth. So green and yellow were good. And then when you start to get to that orange and red, it was Mayday. And people like this report. I liked it. I used to run it a lot. But what we did in version 19 is, one, we allow you to analyze any day and time period now. You can get 8 to 5, 12 to 2, like I said. And we're going to show the top interactive users for the period. So now we're just not going to show a pie chart. We're going to actually show you the big hitters. And again, we give you that cool pie chart percentage breakdown view. So just a great example there. where you can see the ebb and flow of there's the, from midnight and then people starting to come in at 8 in the morning, and then you can see it. I don't know why I didn't cover all that up, but I did. But you can see the table view, and you can see what percentage is under half a second and so forth. So same thing we did before, but we got very granular where you can look at your top users. And there's the pie chart view. So very, very cool breakdown where you can say, okay, here's my big hitters. Enterprise disk space, this is new and this is awesome. So think about customers that have a bunch, managing disk is hard enough, right? And we have our cool library disk IFS suite of products that just work and people love it. But this year we said, hey, for you big hitters out there that have lots of things you have to manage, let's let you manage your disk space from an enterprise standpoint. So look what we've done. In version 18, that concept was built in our enterprise performance overview, and you can see here you could actually see how your disk space is doing for all your frames. But what we did late in 18, and it's a good idea, it's a customer idea, and it's just the perfect concept, is we took this out and we put in disk response time. Why do we do that? Because disk response time is a performance metric, disk space utilization isn't. So we simply replace it. So if you want to run EPO right now, I didn't show a screenshot of this, that'll be disk response time, and it'll be graded, how you're doing as far as, under 4 milliseconds and the like. But from an enterprise disk space, we made a whole new script. So what we did is we created a concept where you define your enterprise. You go into the navigator panel and you do control click. You might just want to see your prod machines or maybe your West Coast machines or whatever. You deem the enterprise. But when you select systems, we're going to show you all frames, all LPARs. And we support multiple ASP. No more other ASP concept. We actually, in this report, break it down by ASP1, ASP2, 33, whatever. It's really cool. You'll see how neat it is. And we show you how much disk you have installed. We do like a current month analysis. And we show you hyperlinks where you can show the trends and click in and see the growth. Very, very cool. And all the SLAs are based on things that you guys want to define. We know the best practice guidelines 80%, but you guys can set that up and you can do it for all ASP. And this I laugh every time. And I'm saying, I know I'm supposed to say how cool it is because I work for MPG, but I'm saying how cool this is because I'm an ex-customer. Oh my God. Based on the current trend, the exact date and time is pinpointed when you're going to reach your SLA. So imagine that, and you said that's just showing off. So you'll see what I mean here in the report. So just the report, you can see again, it's based on each frame. We show you the LPAR. In this example down here, there's an LPAR that's got multiple ASP. We show you the installed disk, the usage. You can see it's green, yellow, or red, depending on how close you're getting your guideline. We show you when the trends right there. And then look at this. We show you when you're exceeding your guideline. So that would be a Mayday situation, right? We got to clean up, we got to do whatever. But look at this. So this person's in the green, right? But look at this. I love this. We show you based on that trend, you're going to reach your SLA on this date and this time, and it's 374 days. Come on. That's just cool, right? And when I show this in class, then we'll talk about education like the end, but boy, do people love this because there's no more, gosh, I think we're going to be okay until, right, based on the current trend, if everything remains the same, boom, here's where you're going to hit it. That's why it's cool. All right, so we're on disk. So why is disk space growing historically? So if you had a situation where you had one out of control, let's figure it out. Really easy with PerfNav. So the version 18 format was cool. We liked it. We just added a little bit more functionality in 19. We added a row number to all reporting. So if you wanted to see like, hey, look at row 4, just kind of easier to interpret the report. But look what we added, number of objects. So not only are we doing a top library analysis, we're looking at a before date and after date, we're actually showing the number of objects as well. And again, like I said before, you can double click on any column and you can sort and look at in this case, I'm sorting by the number of objects on my system. So just the little things make a difference. Again, we've showed this to a lot of folks already, and they're like, holy cow, that's neat. It's the little things that help you manage disk, because we all know it's tough. Now we're going to go into the natural progression of, now we have a disk issue, we know we have a problem library. Well, guess what? We can do library growth analysis, and we put in here in version 19 where you can actually bring down a list. So instead of putting in just a field, you can actually bring up a list. I did have an issue yesterday where a customer had a bunch of change control. And this is one of those things you find out issues when you start to go live. You try to test for everything. They had change control libraries, and it took forever for this list to come up. So what we're going to do, that's one of my number one things to do, is we're going to figure out kind of a workaround on that. Maybe interpret if someone's got change control or a lot of libraries. Just do it the old-fashioned way, where you just cut and paste the library name in. So if you guys get that scenario, don't panic. We're on it. But anyway, when it works, it's really cool, where you pick a library and boom, look at that. Again, no more guessing, no more having a feeling. You know exactly what's going on with that library. All right, taking a drink. Okay, as we continue to understand our disk growth, look where we're at, IFS. The thing that people, why they love our product, is the IFS is that hidden thing out there that nobody can really understand. Well, you can with PerfNav. It's really easy. So in version 19, we have new top directory and stream file reporting, and you can see we show you the top 50, and not only do we show you in this case the top directories, we show you trends are built right into it. I mean, how cool is that? And we do the same thing for stream files. Just very, very solid. And again, it's the little things that help you guys really understand this. And like I said, the feedback has been great. I love this one. New format for historical memory analysis. Okay, so in the old days, we had a predefined criteria. So, we'd show you trends based on 12 months. And I think maybe because I go out to a lot of customer sites, you just hear the way people ask about when you're teaching stuff. And we came up with this concept that I know customers will love. In version 19, you get to pick your trend. So maybe, you'd be amazed. Some people don't want just a 12-month trend. How have we been the last 3 months, 6 months, so forth. So right off the bat, you get to pick your trend. And even more cool is you can say, hey, do I want to show it by month, by weeks, by days? So very, very cool. You can imagine how many combinations of what this report looks like based on what your customer needs. So in this case, we let you be very creative and come up with whatever kind of report concept you want. You get to show your management. So check this out. Here's an example where, yes, I said I want a 6-month trend and I want to do it by months. So here we show that to you, and you'll see very easy toggle buttons where you can go from machine pool faulting to faulting factor percentage to total false. And watch this. What a neat concept this is. The old days, we just showed you that here's your faulting, or here's your faulting factor percentage. But now we've got a button where you can say, okay, based on that view, how did I do with my SLA? Boom, one mouse click, and it automatically converts into an SLA report. Very, very cool. And you can do that for any view that you want. So there's an example where we're looking at a 3-month trend, and the customer wanted a by date view. And you can see that trending's built right into it. And the last one, there's a SLA view on by week. So anyway, great new reporting, a lot of combinations, have fun with it. Monthly response time by SLA user group. Ooh, that's fancy. And that's just a fancy way to say, you know what? You would be surprised how many customers have functional areas design, order entry, warehouse, accounting, and they know what their users are, and they want to understand just not response time as a whole. How's my, in my old days, order entry was the most important thing at Boise Cascade Office Watch, right? People ordering pens and pencils and whatever. So we got down to a very granular level. We knew how the order entry system was running, how was warehouse, how was accounting, and so forth. So what you can do in version 19 is you can look at SLAs based on user groups. So very, very powerful. And not only can you see how well they're doing in regards to the SLA, you can see trends as well. So for those customers that need a little bit more granularity, this is a great report for them to understand how they're doing. Ooh, setting before versus after month. This is completely a new concept in version 19, and we're going to talk about why this stuff matters. Before versus after months. So for years, customers have had before versus after day processing. Well, now we're at the month level. So let's talk about why this is so important. I am at customer sites all the time where they make major application changes and they're trying to understand the impact. My real life example one was I was down the road at a really cool customer site down the road from Rochester, and they were using IBM Lotus Notes and they had same time instant messaging. And they said, gosh, I think my upgrade to same time. Now let me be clear. Nobody was calling, no phones were ringing off the hook. This was just a good systems person that had a feeling that that upgrade didn't go as well as expected. So she said, what can I do, Doug? And I said, I love the question. That's the exact question to ask, but how do we get there? Well, what she did is she ran a month versus month comparison, and we had to do it manually. Well, you don't have to do it manually in version 19. Watch how cool this is. You can go in and you can set a before and after month. I'll show you that in a bit. But once you do that, look at this. You can do top job analysis, top user analysis, top accounting code analysis, and look at all those core metrics that you can measure to understand if things are better, worse, or the same. So important to understand the impact of major changes. So today, or in the old days when I was talking about the manual concept in 18, we had to bring up our monthly, batch job summary, and I've done this live for a capacity plan that went awry. I had a great example for you guys. I went from, this was old, but I went from a Power 7 to a Power 8, and I did this a couple years ago, obviously, but the concept was when it went live, the everything was, took the baseline before, and when it went live, the upgrade went belly up. And it was a crit sit, and you can imagine it was NEM, it's a twister, and everybody's pointing at each other. And MPG, we were asked to get involved and just solve the problem, and we did. And basically what we did is we compared the baseline data when they picked their peak day, and then we compared what happened when they went live, and it was easily apparent what happened. But now it was kind of you had to go in and I had to bring up the report and kind of do a side-by-side view, and we got the answer, what was fine, but now we made it easy for you. So in version 19, you're simply going to make a before and after month, and you do that just the way you've been doing it for years. Just when you do a before and after date, guess what? It automatically sets the before and after month. We wanted to make it easy for you. The trick that I'll show you, I'll show it to you live here in a bit. But the trick I do, whether you do it at dates or at the month level, it's gonna set the before and after months. And you can do a pull down, you can do it on a graph. There's so many ways to set the before and after dates and months. All right. So just to show, and now is a perfect time to show it to you. So one of the things that we love that we did in 19 is in 18 we had functionality. We've had pop-up menus and Power Analytics menus that were doing the same things but were worded differently, and that always bugged me, right? If I'm doing a before versus after analysis, why am I calling it different down here and up here? And it's one of those things when you teach a 2.5 day class and see the way users, it was the right thing to do. So what we did in 19, look how cool, we synchronized the menus. So when we're doing these compares, whether we're doing it in the pop-up menu or in or before versus after under Power Analytics, look at that. They're exactly the same. Just such a smart idea. Shoot, as a guy that's been using the product for 1 billion years, it's even easier for me now. So I'll show you a live demo here just because I want you guys to understand how cool this is. So let's go here and let me go graph CPU job type just to bring up a And let's bring up a by date graph. So we'll show you kind of the, wow. Oh, yeah, by date. Hey, I don't know what that's doing. Okay, so I'm going to, perfect. So I got a bunch of days out. Oh, what a great real life example, right? My CPU jumped up. And even though I'm on a small box, right, I can understand the impact. So today I could go in here and I could set that as my after date, my bad day. And I could go, what is that? That is a Friday. See how I hover over that? Friday, May 18th. So -7 is 11 days. If I wanted to do an apples comparison, watch this. Now, before I run this and show you how cool this analysis is, watch this. I can right click on this compare menu and you see how it says Friday, May 11th to Friday to 18th, May 18th. And this is all the stuff you can do. Well, now this same menu is up here under Power Analytics. The exact same compares. That's what I want, that's so much easier for you guys. So regardless of where, there's little tricks of the trade. I love this pop-up menu because I use it all the time. And you'll see now, look at that. We've got a May versus May comparison. So I'll show you how to change that if you were comparing months. But just to show you, these menus are synchronized. And what's really cool under the before versus after analysis, look what we did. We gave you, and we put it at the top so it's easy. If you don't like setting the dates down here, which is my favorite way, my preferred way, well, if people like calendars, look at, great idea. Look at this, what we did. It's just a pull down where you can do the before or after dates that way. Very, very powerful. It's a personal preference thing, right? As you use it, you'll get used to probably doing it in a graph, but if you want to do it versus a kind of a traditional graph look, you can do that. Now, look what I just did. I want to know why my CPU, let's pretend that jumped up real high. I could do that by simply right-clicking, compare, top job analysis, CPU. Now, unless Murphy gets me, right, we get a nice confirmation. Yep, that's the dates I want. Oh, what a product. This is the stuff when I was a customer, and I always say to business partners, you guys can be a hero to your customers. The fact that I just ran that analysis and teaching this session, and that came up in less than, what was it, 5 seconds, that's ridiculous, right? So you can now have a top job analysis that says, oh, hey, look at, these are all new jobs. Now let me define that. They're obviously not new, right? Those are Lotus things, but they're new on this day that all of a sudden they're big hitters, right? They didn't run from the good day to the bad day. Look at how those jobs are new. And then look at down here, those jobs, there are some jobs that use more resources than normal. How cool is that? A side by side here are the top jobs over here on the good day, bad day. What's my saying? No more guessing, no more having a feeling. You know exactly what happened. And by the way, just to show you, look at this where you could actually sort, right? Any column. Isn't that great? I mean, just so your job to understand why things have changed or things are different just became so much easier for you guys. So again, you'll love this. And just to go back to PerfNav, let's do the month thing. My little best practice guideline that I love is to go to the month level. And watch this. So if I had an example, let's say my CPU jumped up. Well, look at this, even September, right? You can see it that it jumped up. It's subtle, but you get it, right? I could do the same kind of thing. So in my Lotus same time thing, by the way, that customer simply sent that supporting doc to IBM, opened up a PMR, showed them what happened, what I'm about to show you they sent, and they went, oh, you're right, here's a PTF. I mean, that's cool, right? That's what we need to understand, just supporting doc to help because you guys know this, system guys, BP, we all get blamed. So everything we do with performance and everything, you have to prove what's going on. So we make it so easy with Performance Navigator. Now watch this. I'm going to go in and make that my after date. Maybe I want to, and this is how cool you could do, like in that example where I was comparing the year-to-year concept. Let's do that. Look at this. I'll even go back to 2016, and I'll make that my before date. And you want to see how cool this is? Same concept. compare. Now we go to the month compare, top job, CPU. And you just wait back. This is where I get to drink my coffee here. I see a pattern. I love it. It's just cool. I mean, this stuff's just cool because look at that. That's, again, I sound like my 17-year-old daughter. That's ridiculous, right? That's just cool that you can get to that level that quick, that easy, and know exactly why things are different on your system. I'm telling you, this is what that one customer, the potential customer, said. It works like I think. Gosh, what's the difference between September last year, September this year? You got it. Boom. All right. So you can see very, very easy just to understand what's going on from month to month or day to day. Okay, we keep going rapid fire. Here we go. So we got that. Oh my gosh. This is, I'm going to say it again, is ridiculous. I'm sorry. This is really cool. Create output package is so much fun because I'm telling you, here's the real life example. You know, the cool thing about Performance Navigator is we've got CAN reporting, enterprise reporting all over the place, and people love it. Monthly reporting, you know, daily reporting, weekly reporting. We've got it. Report sets. Again, I've been using the product for 1 billion years, and it's neat to see how this has evolved. Here's a concept where sometimes you just need to tell a peer, customer, internal customer, external customer, something might have happened, and you just want to show an example where, hey, here's something that's going on and I'm on it, kind of thing. So in the old days, what I would do is I'd bring up Performance Navigator, I'd copy a bitmap, put it in Word, put some text, and that worked, but sometimes it took a lot more time I wanted, and maybe it didn't look as professional as I wanted to make it. Well, the answer is COP, Create Output Package. So what's really neat about this is you can create an output package, you can modify an existing one, you can add recommendations and summary items to a report, and it's going to be a professional document that you can retrieve anytime. So how does it work? It simply allows you to bring up any graph or window. You're going to save it, add comments to it, and when done, again, you could put a summary page, you know, like an action plan kind of thing to whatever you're reporting on, and you can make it, it's all HTML that you can make it a PDF with your own PDF generator. So watch this. Let's show a real life example where we have maybe a performance metric suffered after an application change, and we're just, maybe I'm seeing this and I just want to tell my boss. So here we go. You simply go to Power Analytics, Create Output Package, and the general flow is this. You bring up a graph, you save the picture, you add a comment, and then you do this iteration over and over for as many pages as you want to show. So it's just cool free-form way that you can create this output report. And then in the end, you can add a summary page of items, like I said, maybe an action plan of things you want to do. So here's an example, and I apologize. I think I was laughing yesterday when I was I did this to some customers, and look how I misspelled response. And I was thinking maybe I did that on purpose to show the ability to go out and modify and fix a typo, but I think it was probably my 56-year-old eyes that just missed it. But anyway, here's an example where, look, if you were in my example, here's what disk response time looked like before the change. Look what happened after the change. Notice the picture, comment below, and then look how simple this is. Hey, we're meeting with the applications team next week. We'll run a stress test, and the QA team will verify when we're good to go to prod. That process, that little ad hoc report, to be able to give a nice professional report, took me a minute. Come on. That's cool. So I want to show you how easy this is because it's just neat. So let's give an example. We'll get this really big. Let's do Power Analytics, and let's say Create Output Package. We'll create a new one, and I'm going to call this Demo. Now I discovered this small bug. I'm going to show it to you live yesterday, and I'm already on it. Notice my graph went away. So it's a resizing thing. See that? We'll get on that ASAP. But you see, just if you if you're trying this and you get the same phenomenon. You see, I just kind of resized it. So maybe I wanted to show something where disk space is going up. So let's go disk space utilization, right? I'm going to tell my boss that, oh, what a great real life example. Disk is going up. I'm on it. I'll figure it out, right? So I can go here, maybe make it look fancy, put some, you know, you can get anything you want. And watch this. Save. Hit the continue button. A version 19 thing, notice the continue script button was always over here. Sometimes people would miss it. Look what we did. I don't care what side of the page you look on, you got it. So you can just click that to continue. Look at this. I go in here, notice disk. Hopefully I won't, a lot of pressure typing in front of you guys. Up, you know, whatever. Boom. Hit OK. Would I like to add more pages? Sure. So I'll go in here, add page 2. Maybe I want to show something else. And I'm going to show you how, I'll do this. I'll just do graph, disk. Let's just do gigabytes stored. Show how much. There you go. Perfect. Hit the save button. Right, just simple comment. Boom. Would I like to do any more? No. And look at this. Do you want to add a summary page? Yeah. And I could say something like, I will run the disk analysis. Wow, I knew I was going to type that wrong. Script to figure out why disk is growing. I apologize, you guys, for having watched me be a bad typer. So there you go. Boom. Do you want to add some more? No. So watch how cool this is, right? Now you can see at my whatever you call your this could have been called problem determination or whatever you call your output package. There it is. There's page 1. There's page 2, and look at that. Very, very powerful, very cool that you can do it. And by the way, look how professional this looks. You can get in there and you can see now it's a very professional document that you can send to anyone. Now, that's how easy it is. Now, let's say you're asked to do another report. So check this out. All right, maybe it's a problem determination thing. Gosh, the phone's ringing. Okay, I figured it out. I got to tell my boss. So maybe I do graph. Oh, let me do it again. So, by the way, here's an example. I don't have to start the output package first. I can bring on the graph, right? Graph, current day, CPU, job type, boom, come up. All right, and then I can do this. New, right? And this one will be called demo 2. Now check this out. There's my little bug we'll fix. All right, now maybe I wanted to know what happened at, let's say, 7 in the morning, the phone's running off the hook. I know it's not real, but it'd be fun to, so I'm gonna do something completely, I'm drilling down into a report. Now look at this, how cool is this? So a report comes up, and maybe I sort by CPU milliseconds. Save window. Now look at that. Come out of the report, close it down, and just continue. And I'll just say, yeah, comment 1, blah, 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 right? Here we go. And maybe that's all I want to do. No, and I don't need no more pages, and I'm not going to give them a summary page. How cool is that? So it doesn't matter if it's a window, graph, you can get to this level. Now, here's a really cool thing. Maybe I wanted to go back in here and I wanted to change that comment. I should have told them what the job was, or whatever. So you can go in here and you can say, all right, create output package. I'm going to modify, and look at this. using the list provided. No kidding. So we know your output packages. We save them in a COP folder. If I go to my demo 2, watch how neat this is. Tells you when it was created, how many pages, and we even bring it up so you know exactly, oh yeah, because maybe it was 4 days ago or whatever. And let's say I'm going to change my comment there. Well, I'm going to do a redo, and I'm going to do graphs, and I only had page 1, so graph 1. And I'm going to do a comment. Oh, look at that, huh? No kidding. Now there's my comment, right? Dun, 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 dun. There's my change. Do you want to add? By the way, if you have a summary page that you kept, right? It's smart enough to say, do you want to add your existing page? Yes, so you don't have to put in your new bullet points or whatever. So there's so many cool functionality things in this built right into it just to make your job easier. So I'm going to say no. And how about that? That's COP. So use this. The feedback again we've had, I keep saying that, I know, but this is a good version. This, I know I'm supposed to say that. I say it every year, but people love this new version. It's really cool, and you guys are gonna really like it. All right, keep going. We're almost done. We really are almost done. So we'll go back. Slideshow. Current slide. All right. Before versus after jump runtime, I'll try to hit these faster. This is a cool thing for customers that want to understand how their jobs are running. The caveat is that we don't cross boundaries. It has to be within one day, midnight to midnight. And if you have jobs that run multiple times, have multiple start times, we're handling that right now. We're working on that. But for right now, if there's one start and one end time, you can actually click on this button here and see what the job has done historically. Very, very cool functionality. Before versus after job, if you have, this is like an applications thing. I've taught so many applications guys this concept, and they love it because now you can start to, be proactive and see when we make application changes, what's going to go on with jobs. Look at this. The new changes is you can analyze any period throughout the day. And here's a biggie, and nobody will realize this until you run it on jobs that are kind of different. If we recognize that you have dissimilar jobs, like they don't always start at 2 in the morning, like sometimes it starts at 7 at night and only runs for 2 intervals, and this one runs for a bunch of intervals, we're going to show you that. We'll tell you when we see vastly different, I call them profiles, job run profiles. If that's the case, the script will say, hey, these are kind of different kind of job profiles. We're going to show you all intervals. So if the script is smart enough to where if things are not 8 to 5 on both job sides, we'll just we'll show it all. We now support multiple system comparisons. So how the job run on system A versus system B. Here's just showing you the new and bigger clean format. Look at that, how the job ran differently on the after date, and we show you, and we're going to show you obviously job metrics, but here's a great capacity planning example where we're looking at CPW. Before versus after, now that was before versus after job. We have just normal before versus after, and look what we have where we can do multiple system comparisons. So when you're looking at CPU, disk, memory, number of jobs, so forth, look what we can get down to. How did it run on system A, and look at system B. And what we're saying here is when you run that analysis on both those machines, we're going to point out where the system specs are different, right? In this case, hey, it's truly an apples and oranges kind of comparison, because look at how this system, it might be after an upgrade, right? Here's where it ran before, and we're simply telling you that the specs are different between the two boxes. And there's an example. I'm looking at a Mimics box there and comparing that over there. Very, very powerful. Same thing before versus after job, where we're comparing system A and system B. Other miscellaneous improvements, you might have seen it when I was running scripts, that we have really neat status messaging at the bottom. We tried to, in all our scripts, when instead of having the Windows circle thing happen, when we're running, think of these scripts where when we're comparing jobs on this day versus jobs on this day. We're looking at sync IO, async IO, CPU, CPW, right? We put little status messages at the bottom of what we're doing. So you know that's, even though the scripts run very quickly, when one may take a little bit, we're going to show you the status at the bottom. We made the JPEGs bigger. Like I said, that's because of my eyes. So you'll see bigger JPEGs. Messaging, a lot more cleaner in version 19. We used to have this giant paragraph look where things were wrap around. Look at this, very, very clean. Like I said before, just little things to make it easy. Version 19 manual, we completely redid it from 18. This was the old look and feel. I admit this because I'm the one that does I do the manual. I thought using Publisher years ago was going to be the cat's meow, as my dad would say, God rest his soul. But what I learned, Word just looks so much better. It's just a cleaner look and feel, and you can see it's a completely new format. I've already had a customer call in and say, wow, this manual is great. So you can download this and you can see just a very, very easy look and feel. We updated our YouTube videos with version 19 stuff, so you can see under the help command, you can get to those. And finally, we'll talk about the education program. I get asked from business partners all the time, can you teach me the class? And I thought about this. I've been with the company 14 years, but the education program has been around 16. You guys don't know this, but Randy was gracious enough to let me teach PerfNav. That's probably why I ended up in this chair. I was teaching it when I worked at Boise Cascade. I was taking vacation time and training at various parts around the country. So I think he hired me just to shut me up. But anyway, we've made great improvements in the education program. I know it's the best deal in the industry. We show all real life examples. I know I've got guys out there that have heard me say this too many times that are just the best teaching moments. It's a 2.5-day hands-on lab class. We travel to you on our dime, and I'm going to say that again. This is why customers, BPs love this, is we're not trying to make $1 billion on education. We want you guys to know this. We're a business, we want profit, duh, but we're traveling on our dime to you because we know it's important for you guys to really use this effectively. And here's the cool thing. You select your own dates based on your availability and no arbitrary dates, if I can say it. So think about the old days when I was at Boise. Gosh, I had a systems team. We want to go take an IBM class. Oh, shoot, it's in July when everybody's on vacation, right? We don't do that. I literally have a master calendar in front of me. You call me. I just got a call yesterday. Hey, Doug, can you teach me June 27, 28, 29? You got it. Boom. So that's how easy. And look at this. No limit to class attendees. How many times in our industry it's 2,500 a person? Well, no, we don't care. Bring your mom. I don't care. So all joking aside, whether I'm teaching a customer, I often have business partners come in all the time and learn as well. And you can see the audience can be anybody. We do have a web class. I say this, people have liked it, but I will just tell you this from experience. Yeah, it's easy to do things over the web. Let's be clear. Sometimes when it's geography issues, you got to do it over the web. I get it. But what I've learned from people is most people prefer the on-site training because of the hands-on lab. You can't do hands-on labs and things over the web. It's just too hard. And when you're in a classroom environment, you can see that glossy, glazed look, like, oh, I'm not getting it, So that's why people like it. We schedule classes first come, first serve. The normal price is $3,500, and we're offering a special. I've already had a customer use this, where if you guys get a class and order a class by the 1st, we're going to knock 20% off for you. So that means we're going to fly to you. You can have as many people in the class. We're going to analyze customer systems or your systems as part of the lab, and we're going to do it for $2,800. So that's a deal. And you can see it's only for the U.S. But if you have the need for training, call us, because we can get you, especially with version 19 with all the new stuff. We think it'll really help you. On that note, let's open it up for questions. I'm assuming Randy has questions been asked and answered already.
Yes, I have answered a few of those questions, but again, thanks, Doug. And like Doug said, it certainly was a rapid fire. In fact, I even learn stuff every time because these guys are inventing things faster than sometimes I can keep up with it. So it's always good for me to watch this stuff. And so I see most of y'all have been there. So we can certainly open, raise your hand, or if you got any questions. If not, obviously you know how to reach us at our 800 number, and we can, set up a web meeting with you to address any other questions
You
that
can
you and your customers have.
email us too, right, Randy? Email us.
Email us at
Yep.
support@mpg.com, which I'm sure most of you understand. But I think most of you, your reporting performance is one thing, analyzing performance is a different thing.
Mm.
And we're putting a lot of effort in version 19 and in the past in analyzing the performance because, just having a graph, most people, that are our customers, I would say 75% of the questions we get to support are one of two things. I'm looking in the graph and I don't know what it means, and I got a problem and I don't know where to go. Right? And sometimes we have to think about it because it does so many things. It kind of depends on what the problem is and what's the shortest way to get there. So it does take some training, but I think problem determination is a big thing. And obviously capacity planning, as you guys know, like I said, you can get that. It is a funded program through IBM, which you can go through. MPG does it as well. So either path you want to take. And we use that COP report in capacity planning every time because there is not one cookie cutter for every customer. So every customer is different. So we use, for example, that COP report as part of our capacity plan every time because they're always, I'm going to upgrade to this one and that one and activate one core. And so there's no standard report that you can produce in a capacity plan. So
great point.
We use that every time when we do a capacity plan. So if you got any questions on any of this subject, if not any questions now, obviously we're going to have this recorded, as Doug said, and you can go review it. But if there's no questions, Doug, I think this is good. We'll just put it on the website.
Thanks, guys. It's always fun to talk to you guys, and we really appreciate everything. You help us to improve the product and just help us. So thanks, everybody, and have a good day. We'll see you.
Take care.